Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV and welcome to 5 Things We Learned, the show where we go through all the major talking points of the previous game. Normally Chelsea, but it's going to be England today. And before we get into it, make sure you smash the likes on the video, subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV if you haven't done so already, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'm going to try and make this as Chelsea related as possible. And obviously England getting off to a great start in their Euro 2024 qualifying campaign with a 2-1 win away in Naples against Italy, and the first win in Italy since 1961. So, first half was good football, second half was kind of a bit more dogged, backs to the wall stuff, but England ground out a result. And my first thing is that it's good news for Chelsea that Reece James only played 5 minutes and Ben Chilwell wasn't used at all. And a selfish perspective from the club's point of view is that they got minimal minutes. It's more rest. They've played a lot of football recently, still coming back from obviously long-term injuries. And it means that obviously they haven't picked up any injuries, which is always a worry when you go away on international duty. I am kind of surprised that Southgate and the squad planning, obviously we've won, so they can't be too critical about it, but I'm really surprised that Reece James doesn't start at right back for England. He'll probably start on Sunday against the Ukraine and most likely be up against Mikhailo Mudryk. And I also don't understand how A, Ben Chilwell doesn't start, and B, a right back in Kieran Trippier comes off the bench ahead of Chilwell, even though Chilwell is in superb form at the moment. It's clear Southgate's got his favourites. So from an individual perspective for Chile, it'll be massively disappointing. But from a Chelsea perspective, it's great to see that, Ben Chilwell's getting a little bit of a rest, even though, take into account the travelling, etc. and things like that. But a plus from a Chelsea perspective is that 2 key players in James and Chilwell have barely featured. 5 minutes for James, no minutes for Chilwell. So that kind of bodes well with the busy fixtures we've got coming up for Chelsea in April, 8 or 9 in total there. As I said, Reece James will start, I would expect, against Ukraine. Chilwell, you would expect he would come in with Shaw suspended, having been sent off, but it looks like it'll probably be Kieran Trippier playing at left back. So that's kind of what Southgate goes with. He's got his favourites, he's got his tried and trusted. So it is what it is. Other than that, there's not really too much more to add from a Chelsea player's perspective. Obviously, Conor Gallagher got 5 minutes as well. Nothing particularly to add to there. My second point is Harry Kane became England's record goal scorer, surpassing the record that he held with Wayne Rooney, out on his own now. 54 goals for England. Congratulations to him. Obviously, a fantastic achievement, even though he does play for Spurs. And from an England perspective, got to congratulate him. It's great. He's done it in a lot less games than Rooney. I think he's done it in 81 games, and Rooney did it in 120 games. So yeah, fair play to Harry Kane, a superb striker, and quite fittingly, he gets the record-breaking goal from the penalty spot. If only he could have done that against France, is what a lot of people have been saying. And yeah, of course, that is the case. But Kane, you look at the centre forwards available now, you'd love to have him at your club. In terms of a complete forward, he's got goal scoring, left foot, right foot, heading, and he's a more complete player as well. He drops deep, he can link the play up. He's almost got he can sort of play that number 10 role as well, with the way, as I said, he links play, the way he gets quite a few assists. And fair play, is a phenomenal achievement, and he's one of the greatest probably one of, if not the greatest goal scorer that England's ever produced. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Wayne Rooney. I think Wayne Rooney is a better player than Harry Kane, but in terms of the numbers and the records, Kane's right up there, and his numbers stack up. So fair play to him on that one. And his goals are going to be so important to England going forward, not only in qualification, but as Gareth Southgate or whoever the England manager is going to look for first major trophy since the 1966 World Cup. England are reasonably close. There's still a little bit to go there, but Kane's goals are going to be vital for that. And who knows how many he could end up getting before he hangs his boots up. Yeah, but congratulations to Harry Kane on getting that England record for being a record goal scorer. In terms of my third point then, moving on to Declan Rice, his third international goal for England, smashing home from a corner. And I'm still seeing people think that Declan Rice is not good. As far as I'm concerned, if you cannot see it, you've been blinded by your agenda. For me, Chelsea should be making him a priority target. If you cannot see what Declan Rice brings to the table and how good a football player he is, then God help you. I'm sorry. It really is as simple as that. For the profile we're looking at, that number 6 right defensive midfield position that we desperately need in the squad, he'd be the perfect foil for Enzo to push forward as an 8, for Cover to play there, another player, another midfielder, which I think we will sign too, or maybe Lavia can play there. We've got, this gives us so many options to push Enzo further up the pitch, to enable us to use a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. Even if we play a 4-2-3-1, he's perfect foil alongside Enzo in a pivot. And if you can't see that Declan Rice is a good footballer, then yeah, I'm sorry, but you've been blinded by whatever agenda you're trying to push, because it's quite simple to me. He's Premier League proven. And I know that doesn't always count for a lot, because there's players that come in from other leagues and do fantastically well as signings. And then there's players that have played in the Premier League before, get a big move, and it doesn't work out for them. But the Premier League experience does count for something. He's a Chelsea boy. He's a Chelsea fan. He's been at the club as a youngster, obviously released at the age of 14, I believe. So he would have a point to prove. We had our first kind of concrete links with him under the new ownership, I think last week or earlier this week. For me, it's a priority signing. It has to be. He ticks all the boxes. He'll have 2 years left in his contract in the summer. His price will be a lot less than was quoted by West Ham in the summer just gone. There's also the chance that West Ham could go down, in which case that would weaken their position even further. But, another outstanding performance by Declan Rice tonight. There's not really much more you can say. He's just a top player. And he, as I said, he'd be perfect foil to play alongside Enzo in a pivot, or to play as a number 6 in that midfield as the Chelsea revamp continues. So Declan Rice, for me, is a priority signing, and Chelsea have got to do everything they possibly can to get him. There's a reason why the top teams are linked with him: City, Arsenal, United, Chelsea. Happens to be because he's a good footballer. Same with Mason Mount. People think he's shit, and yet the top teams are linked with him. There's a reason the top teams are linked with these players, because they're good footballers. It's as simple as that. And it's exactly the same with Declan Rice. So I would love to see him arrive in the summer, if that's possible to be done, because we can't miss out on him and allow him to go elsewhere. It would be criminal if that were allowed to happen. Moving on to my 4th point then, is that England always make things hard for themselves. There was an opportunity to kill the game off tonight, 2-0 up, great start. Grealish, I don't know what he was doing. He's had a fantastic season for Manchester City so far. I don't know why, with an open goal, he's trying a bit of a flashy outside of the boot finish, gets it horribly wrong, sends it miles wide, and that's 3-0, and that's game over. But England then kind of sit off. They stop playing football, allow Italy back into the game. A stupid mistake by Harry Maguire, and it's 2-1. And you're feeling pretty nervy. It's a nervy last kind of 20 odd minutes, and then you get Luke Shaw making a really stupid decision. When you're on a booking and you're 2-1 up, you don't fly in making rash challenges like that. So England, fair play, dug in, backs to the wall and held on, but game management has got to be a lot better. You've got to try and see teams off. Don't stop playing football when you're ahead. You get 2-0 up. Keep doing those things that you did to get to that position in the first place. Don't kind of take your foot off the gas. Don't stop playing. Retreat 5 yards or so and allow, Italy back into the game and make things very, very difficult for yourself. Yeah, you might get away with it in qualifying, but in tournaments against the top teams, and let's make no mistake about it. I know Italy are a defending European champions, and it's a tough place to go, but this Italy team's not the best. A lot of players missing, not the best options they've had available to them. So yes, it's a good win, but if you make things difficult for yourself, you've got to make sure that you see a game off when you're in the ascendancy. Don't make stupid decisions, and just improve that game management. Because as I said, in the big games, in the big moments, decisions like that are going to really cost you. Moving on to my final point then, is that I think Southgate's favoritism to certain players could end up costing him in the big moments. You talk about Harry Maguire, and he has been exceptional for England, of course. But when you're not playing for your club and United, you're not featuring at all, or you're getting very few minutes, to then step in and play for England just because he's done a good job in the past, I just don't think it's right. I think, yes, it should count for something, but ultimately, you're picked for England on your club form. And if you keep getting picked for squads and you're playing no minutes, like Calvin Phillips, like Harry Maguire, I think you're just asking for trouble. There's far better defenders that are playing week in, week out at a good standard that should be in that squad instead. How Ben White's not in the England squad, I'll never know. How Fikayo Tomori is not in the squad, I'll never know. You know, we've got good centre backs playing football regularly that should be in the squad, should be in the team, but yet you've got Harry Maguire who's playing next to no minutes at United, is still getting picked because he's a favourite and being picked for what he's done in the past. And yes, that does hold some credit, that does hold some semblance, but ultimately, you know, your club form gets you in the national team squad. And you can't just live on what you've done for England in the past. Players have got to start being picked on merit. It's as simple as that. You know, and it's a big club bias for sure, because if Maguire played for someone like an Aston Villa or he played for an Everton or whatever it was, he simply wouldn't be in the squad. And we're kind of seeing the same with Jack Grealish now, that, you know, as soon as he's joined Manchester City, he's starting a lot more games for England. There is a big club bias there for sure. And it's not just a Southgate thing, it's an England manager thing in general. But yeah, my point being that, you know, this faith in favourites when they're not playing regular football, I think is going to come back to bite Gareth Southgate in the arse. But overall, it's a very good win for England. It's a good performance. Two contrasting halves, great free-flowing football in the second half, dogged backs to the wall football in the second half. Sorry, free-flowing football in the first half, backs to the wall football in the second. And ultimately, it's a win. The hardest game in theory is out the way in the qualification campaign. And England kind of push on from there. England always do well in qualifying. You know, I don't really judge England on these games because there's not really much point. You're judged on what you do in a tournament. Every single England manager breezes through qualification. But it's a great start. It's a winning start. We move on to Sunday, England versus Ukraine. Hopefully see Reece James start up against Mykhailo Mudryk. That'll be a great little battle there. Hopefully see Ben Chilwell get some minutes for England as well, although I'm not confident. And other than that, I don't think Conor Gallagher will play either. But yeah, you know, a good night for England from a Chelsea perspective, as I touched on at the start of the video. Important that, you know, the Chelsea contingent didn't get too many minutes, well rested, and no injuries picked up. So those are the positives. But yeah, guys, that's just my thoughts on the England game. Trying to keep it as Chelsea based as possible. Make sure you smash the likes on the video, subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll catch you again soon.